Hello out there. I go by Covert Go Blue, or CGB, and I am back to play some more Magic, which I would be doing anyway. I was going to say for your entertainment, but let's be honest. I'll do this no matter what, because I love this game. But, because you're here, let's entertain you while we're at it. So, what am I going to play with today? Always the big question. And today, for some reason, I feel like playing... I think there's a 4-color control list. A Converge control list? Yeah, from the Steam Showdown. Which, I've been trying to make my way through this... Wait, what's this? Team up with a friend? Two-headed giant tournaments? Nope. Don't care. I'm not a two-headed giant guy. It's okay if you are. I'm not. It just... I don't know. I'm a solo hunter. I'm a big cat. I'm not a pack animal. I'm not a wolf. So let's create. Oh wait, I know. I've got to do. That's Gemini's not green. Let's. Where's my Steam Showdown deck list? I guess it's not there. No, I don't want to delete anything. Okay, gotta get my fingers under me. Gotta get my touch. All right. So let's create the Steam Showdown deck that I'm talking about. Put it together. And it's, I mean, don't call it a ramp deck. There are no ramp spells in the whole thing. It's just control cards. So, let's see what we do here. Let's get Mythic. Boom. Let's get green. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 Skyrider Elves. Yep. So, gonna do a bit of converging here. No. What are you doing? Continue building! Arg! Alright, what's the white stuff? We got Edicts, and we got Gideons, and we got Outbursts. Let's just do it that way. Nope, you're not Gideon. You're Gideon. They're just Gideons irregulars. I mean, Kithians irregulars, but really Gideons irregulars, since Kithian is Gideon, and Gideon is Kithian. And Finkel is Einhorn, and Einhorn is Finkel. And that is an Ace Ventura reference for those in the know. Well, actually, that explanation was for those not in the know. I can't help you if you don't know. I can try to relate, but I can't really explain why it's funny. And we're gonna get our converging on for sure today. At least that's the idea. What are we doing with black? We're not doing anything with black. Black doesn't get no love. Black is the color that does not make the cut. And red, we have the Radiance of the Flames. What else do we have in red? A one of Chandra's Ignition. Oh, and 3 Rolling Thunders. So actually we're a bit redder than I thought. One of Chandra's Ignition. Fun. We'll see if that comes up. And we already got our Gatecreepers up in there, and we gotta get Nissa in there. And we have to get Woodland Wanderer, and is there From Beyond? There is. Guess we're gonna do some Ulamog. Greenwarden. There you are. And what am I missing? I'm missing Kiora. Here, Kiora. Get you into the deck. Any Omnath? Yep. Gotta have that Omnath. Gotta have this big colorless critter and this bigger colorless critter. And we're gonna go deuces on basics. Deuces not that wild. Nope. Swamp. Nope. You are a not black deck. And we're gonna get the Falls. Nope. He says no to Lumbering Falls. Pass. Probably because of the comes into play tapped. I'm sure that things coming into play tapped is already an issue, so makes sense to me. No sacrilege there. Are we Craggin'? Yep, we're Craggin'. And we're Sunpetaling. And we're Glacial Fortressing. And we're evolving. And there we go. I mean, 10 4-drops and 10 2-drops kind of balances it out. That curve doesn't make me unhappy. It's not quite a curve as it is the 2 towers, but it does work. Oh wait, we're doing other people's decks, so we get to do other faces. So how about this guy? This guy's gonna be our avatar. And what does he just not look like? Let's just put him way out of water. Where doesn't he look like he belongs? Like, hello, I live in the desert. Or is he like, hello, I live in a deep dark forest? I don't look like a forest type, but there you go. Alright, so let's see how the deck goes here. I'm curious, you know, it seems like the kind of deck that would want ramp and mana fixing, and instead has none of it. So is the mana base good enough to just get the lands we need the old-fashioned way and just draw them? I don't know, but let's find out. It's gonna be fun. Can we control a ramp deck that just wants to shove acid moss down our throats on our rather ambitious 4-color mana base? Also don't know about that. Gotta see. It's like net decking with the stars over here. Just go to No Goblins Allowed, go to the recent tournament threads, and look at some deck lists. And, you know, if you're really ambitious, if you really want to net deck it up, go look up the records and pick out the ones that are doing the best. You can even watch some of the coverage footage, the gameplay links, see people play them. Feels a lot closer to paper Magic all the time. I know that's, I am a coverage junkie with Paper Magic. I watch the Star City Opens, and I watch the Pro Tours, and I watch the Grand Prix, and I very much enjoy that. And now we get to watch other people, far from professional. We're still, I think, all learning the game quite a bit, but you get to watch other people competing in duels in tournament form, which is pretty fun. And, you know, because they're... And with duels, you're mostly playing for fun. But you can... you're mostly playing for fun on duels. But you can try anything. But when you register something for a tournament, you're saying it should be really good. So, we've got a viewer. He's jumping in. He's got a Bug Leap control deck that he says is fantastic. You're welcome to share the list or type up what's in there. I've had a really hard time getting those decks to work against ramp decks, but they're really good against most decks. They'll beat, you know, they'll beat most of what they play against. It's just I have to beat ramp decks. I'm so try hard. I can't just lose to ramp. Let's hold this. Obviously, this is a pretty land-heavy deck hand, but in a world where I get acid mossed on the regular, probably better to have more lands than less. Although, watch, we'll probably flood. That's the way it works. Chandra's Ignition. Hopefully we get something to use it with. And what do we want to use here? Well, we definitely we have one green. Blue, we got the double blue. We want the double white, we want the double red. So we're gonna get red no matter what. Let's just get it out of the way before I forget and miss my trigger. Alright. What's it gonna be? Yep, Gatecreeper. Not gonna play that this turn. We'll get Jace out there, and he'll get shot in the face by Fiery Impulse, but we'll give him a chance. Give him a chance to pull it off. Those, the Bug, the Evolutionary Leap control decks, whether it's Bug, Abzan, or just the black-green one. There's that Fiery Impulse. Whatever they are, that was very much, in my opinion, kind of a last, an Origins meta call. It was really good in Origins, because you could take your time and just generate value through Evolutionary Leap, and you could spend lots of turns doing that before you got around to winning the game and just kind of run your opponent out of stuff as long as you had Leap and they didn't. But that's all a lot different now. Things have changed, and not for the better for that deck, because if I'm over there trying to churn with my Evolutionary Leap and get my stuff together that way, and my opponent, on the other hand, decides to ramp into something like Ulamog or Gaia's Revenge. You know, they play some ramp spells. They get a whole bunch of mana. They play a Gaia's Revenge, and we've got out like 3 Elvish Visionaries and maybe a Fleshbag Marauder that eats a Gatecreeper Vine and doesn't hit Gaia. And then they cast Rolling Thunder and wipe our board. And then they start attacking us for 8. It's just nasty, because you can Evolutionary Leap all you want to, but if they're casting huge monster threats that you can't do anything about, then that deck just sadly has a hard time. And, you know, Fleshbag spam isn't what it used to be. Like I was saying, everybody has those little critters, the Gatecreeper Vines of the world, the Elvish Visionaries, the Jotty Offshoots. They have something that, you know, Fleshbag will run right into. Now, like I said, the deck is really good. If there were not ramp in the format, like if ramp weren't as good as it is right now in the format, then that deck would be just fine. And you can play it and beat all the ally decks and beat up all the elf decks. You can have a really good old time, but in the long term, not so much. Now, obviously, we're not going to block there. Some kind of a Twin Bolt, Titan Strength, anything like that will kill our Skyrider Elf. And he won't even have to trade his Lieutenant for it because of First Strike. He'll just do it before First Strike damage happens. So, we've got a much more sinister plan for his creatures. Oh yeah, it's gonna get nasty. Planar Outburst. Now that's an interesting card to put in a creature deck with 2 1s. Not how I'd do it. Let's blow him up. Boom. How you doing? Rah. Aw, boo, Celestial Flare. Glad we didn't attack first. So this is kind of a red-white aggro control. Not, I played a deck like this back in Origins. I guess so. We got Celestial Flare, Planar Outburst, and Fiery Impulse next to Council's Lieutenants and Abbots of Carrow Keep, and now we got a dragon. Ooh, well, we're gonna leave him empty-handed here in a second. It's gonna be nasty. Let's see what he loses. Titan Strength and Twin Bolt. That's sad day for you. Fortunately, we don't exactly have a ton up our sleeve either, but we're playing kind of this big end game with control. I doubt he has cards like Ulamog in the deck, so our draws should be better than his in the long term as long as we don't flood. And so far, we've drawn a lot of lands. So let's see what happens. And he's got to retreat to Emeria, which there's some land, and that's going to get him some value from flooding out himself, which we'll see what happens there. We can clean up the tokens with some Radiant Flames if he makes several of them, and we're still at 20, so we can take some hits, but we need to draw some better action. Because right now, every land he draws is going to become a 1/1 creature, and every land we draw is going to make me groan. Alright, I guess I'm not gonna use that on a 1/1. We're gonna wait and see if we can use it on multiple 1/1s or some other creature, because it seems like he has pretty small creatures in the deck, with that dragon being the exception. Very odd. Kind of a Boros do everything. Hey, there's a card I don't mind blowing up. Thopter Engineer. At least it seems to be an interesting deck. And yeah, kind of a Boros mid-range. At least we got a pretty interesting deck and opponent to go up against. I do think it's going to be hard for us to lose to a deck like this. Tempting to... I think I can do both here. Let's see. Yep, 4. Yep, there we go. And we can do that. Have a nice big turn. Gonna hold this land in case we draw Omnath, because we want to make another 5/5 the turn we draw, and cast Omnath, of course, because Omnath is awesome that way. And he's one of in the deck, but you never know. Flame Shadow Conjuring. The wonders never cease. Let's see. I guess it's a token deck? Another reason to hold lands, Brilliant Spectrum just arrived. So let's try to end this game. I don't think we have much in the deck that interacts with those enchantments other than Ulamog himself. So we have to be a little bit aggressive because he does have a long-term plan over there that could be a problem with those lands. Okay. Nah. I shouldn't have shown him that. That was bad. But bad play on my part, but oh well. Let's put out the brick wall. The big old Woodland Wanderer. He would play left tackle in the NFL for sure, right? He's quick, he's massive, he doesn't tap to attack, so he must have pretty quick feet. Good, obviously good hands. He's smashing that hedron. Yeah, he would play left tackle in the NFL. American football. He's the Michael Orr. He's going to protect my blind side from hasty threats. All right. So that's a very sad Gideon over there. Let's get some more clarity on what we have available. Okay. Can attack for 10. And we have a Spell Shrivel for any shenanigans. So I think we just go to the face and try to end the game here. It's tempting to kill Gideon, but I think we can just win. I mean, all he can do is soak some damage. He decides to soak some damage. Still leaves him on a one-turn clock to either threat. And leaves him at the mercy of a top deck. And it has to get around a Spell Shrivel and not be consumed by Radiant Flames. So I think we're in good shape. What did you draw? Did you draw a concession? That's usually what I see around this time in the game. Ha! Yeah, good try. Not gonna happen. I guess what he could have done... He's still dead, even after casting that, and it hurts him just as much. He has to get rid of an enchantment. Yeah. He was dead either way. Okay, you attacked me for 5. Guess what? I block you. I don't care. My blind side is protected by Michael Orr, Woodland Wanderer over here. I'm reading that book, The Blind Side, so that's where all the references are coming from, and most people know the movie. Attack the correct player, not the planeswalker. Take the game. So, 1 down. Interesting Boros kind of mid-range tokenish deck that also had a bunch of control elements and some enchantments. Probably resilient-ish to control, but we handled it no problem. Let's see what we get for our next opponent. Looking out my window just for fun here in the great northern part of the United States as we have snow coming down today. Not thick snow, not heavy snow, but I do have to go driving in about an hour, and that's going to be a little unfortunate, but nothing I can't handle, nothing we don't handle all the time. And just because it snows doesn't mean we don't go somewhere. Unlike many cities that seem to shut down when there's snow on the roads. In the, I wouldn't say south, but in the mid-south, I'd say it's pretty common to see cities just at a standstill. I was out in Seattle. I was at a big company's headquarters in Seattle, and the guy there, who was a department manager, actually a manager of a whole platform, He oversaw like, you know, several hundred workers who oversaw like 2 million people on the platform. And he told me, he's from Michigan too, he told me he loves to hire people from Michigan because when it snows, the couple of times a year it snows in Seattle, they still get to work while everybody else is like calling in, terrified to go driving in the snow. So it's kind of a point of pride for Michiganders like myself. A little bit of snow doesn't keep us from doing what we want to do. And I drive like a little tiny car too, but I know how to get, I know what kind of snow tires to put on it. That's the big technology. Most people just buy a truck or SUV and call it a day. Don't even sweat the snow. And happy first day of March. I'd like to think spring is coming, but when it snows on the first day of March, it's like too painful to talk about the beach, and it's too painful to talk about spring and summer just yet. Alright, this is interesting. On the draw, I think I can keep it. It is pretty slow. It is some big threats. It's got all our colors. I'm gonna try it. It could be too slow. We could get run out of the gym. The good news is, if we're playing against, let's do it like this. If we're playing against another ramp deck, a mid-range deck, or a control deck, something slow, we have a really good threat density, and we know that we can probably draw to it if we get time. And hopefully we'll get that time. Since our opponent hasn't played any creatures yet, I'd say we're in good shape. Ah, shoot. I forgot about that. I should have played this one first if I wanted to make that sequence. Oh well. I gotta start paying more attention. Do we have cards in the deck that take double blue? No, we do not. So, we got double white, we got double green, so our Gatecreeper is looking for the red mana. 3 swamps, what are you gonna do with them? It's gonna retreat to Hagra. Alright, it's gonna be a slow creeping point-by-point death. Let's go get the mountain. And let's play the tap land, since it's not clear that we'll be able to play it untapped anytime soon. I believe I could have sequenced my early land drops to have Spell Shrivel up this turn, which would have probably been ideal. Oh well. That was wrong, that was a misplay. I need to be smarter about it. And I need to not dwell on it because I still got magic to play. Alright, we've got a 2/3 that can gain Death Touch. Not that scary. At least not yet. What we don't have is like Fiery Impulse or other really cheap removal spells that we can play to deal with you know, these little 1/1 creatures that come out. We kind of just have to take some hits from them and get up to bigger and better things. So in that way, I don't know how much I like it as a control deck, since it's going to be slow, but it's probably good against other ramp decks. Now, do I care about you? 1, 2, 3... I need to draw another land. If it's not another land, it's probably something that can cope. But we're running out of room with this Spell Shrivel. Our opponent, if they had bigger things to play, would have played them by now. I'm actually going to Shrivel this. If our opponent had something like Obnixilis or something like that, I'm pretty sure they would have just spiked it. So I don't know how much better Spell Shrivel will get, and as we get more lands into play, it becomes less useful in general. Do I want to trade my Gatecreeper for 2 life yet? No, I don't want to trade my Gatecreeper. It's very likely that there's Fleshbag Marauder in Purpose the Gods deck. Alright, so we always want to have Gatecreeper around to take the Fleshbag for the team. That's a fine draw. Let's try to set up with some more land. And we do. I don't think we'll need that Evolving Wilds. Although, pull land, another land out of the deck? Nah. I also don't think we'll need this From Beyond. We already have both Eldrazi in the hand. Yeah, that's right. Alright. So starting very soon, the parade of monsters will begin. and we'll see how our opponent is prepared to handle it. Great thing about Chandra's Ignition is it is amazing when it works. The bad thing about it is you need a monster to cast it on. Now, we've got plenty of monsters in the hand. We need one on the battlefield. Hopefully we can play something that sticks around long enough to do some work. So Necrom, that's fine. We exiled the familiar with a Spell Shrivel, so he can't get that back. And he's got the Death Touch combo going. I'm not. It's all not really worth it in my opinion. It's a very slow clock. It's not threatening, and our cards are about to get really threatening. Let's lead the party with Oblivion Sower to get more lands onto the battlefield. I think the big Greenwarden play later in the game will be to get Chandra's Ignition if we even need a play like that. I like combining Sower with Omnath, but that's a little cutesy, and this is mana efficient, whereas Wanderer is not. Because we want to spend all our mana each turn if we can, for, you know, an arguably similar effect. So we get one swamp out of the deal. Let's see some more of this kind of black aggro creature pile. Yeah. I think this, I could be wrong. We'll see. Maybe our opponent can cast like 4 Unholy Hungers in a row and a Flesh to Dust and be okay, but I think our opponent's going to be in trouble against our deck quite a bit. I don't see him really coping with this stuff. But there's step 1. There's the Unholy Hunger I just mentioned. We'll see how many of those he can do in a row. He's only got 1 card left in his hand, and we have just a boatload of brutality to unleash. So, yeah, you can go ahead and hit me. You still don't have a creature in your graveyard to get back. He's got, I mean, when you look at what his cards have done, this hasn't done anything. This has done a little. This has done a little. It got me half dead, but it's gonna have a hard time getting any further. So let's get some Omnath going. Locus of Rage. Yep, let's locus some rage over here. So what are you going to do about this one, dear foe? Is Omnath making you sweat? If he's not, you might get ignited. Necromantic Summons, probably to get my Oblivion Sower, is a good play. Not Spell Mastery, so it's just a 5/8. I wish I had a way to return it to my hand, but I don't. And a Shadows of the Past is the last card out of the hand. Okay. We are on 8 mana. Gatecreeper's 9, so we're 1 mana away from just going ham with Ulamog. Okay. Thunder for 6. We can do better just taking our time. His hand is empty. Let's just get Ulamog all set up and ready to rock and roll. So, I guess the smart, super smart play there would have been Gatecreeper for Evolving Wilds and use that this turn instead of playing the untapped land. Oh well. I think that would be brownie points, but I should have done it. Definitely should have done it. Let's get this guy out here. See what our opponent can come up with. I doubt they can come up with much of anything. Child of Night. Okay. Yeah, the Evolving Wilds last turn would have definitely been the hot sauce play that I should have made. Because then we'd have Ulamog this turn, and we'd have 2 more Omnath tokens rocking and rolling. Would have been the extra spicy. Oh well. So for next time, I'm gonna get that right. And am I going to just attack? Yeah, I am. Just not with the Omnath. Kind of the big catch here is if he blocks an elemental and kills it with his Oblivion Sower, if any of my elementals die, it gets the lightning bolt effect from Omnath, and that will take out the Oblivion Sower. Since Omnath says whenever an elemental dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player, so we're going to do that right now. Down goes an elemental, and here comes that lightning bolt. It's going to finish off the Sower. He's going to get Scry. He's going to get a Scry trigger now and a Scry trigger after Sower dies. So hopefully he finds something juicy. Another Necromantic Summons perhaps would be fun. Okay, he's got a familiar. Not gonna be good enough. I don't think we'll even need to cast Ulamog. We've got more than enough damage out here. In fact, we're gonna kill him the fun way. Bolt you, bolt you, bolt you, bolt you, bolt you. And he gets 10 Scry triggers. I hope he finds something good, because he's dead. Oh, take your time with each of them. I should have thought about this. He's on the move now. There's only so many times you can scry tolerably. I had to cut Shadows of the Past from some of my decks because the Scry triggers took up so much of my turn that I didn't have enough time to make other plays. And we got into some complicated turns. Bam. Alright. Omnath, Chandra's Ignition, combo finish. Let's go see if we can... Let's see if we can find something I can hang my hat on and say that was a good challenge. Maybe some Thopters, some red aggro, and of course some Gruul ramp would be nice. Even like some of that 4-color ramp, things like that. Just give me a good one good game here to finish this off. Of course, I don't get a say in it, so we take what we can get. Alright, backing out, getting back in. Eager to get out of the snow, eager for spring and summer to come, and like I said, it's too painful to really talk about much, but I did my own type of therapy today, and I booked my plane tickets for Florida, which will be about in the middle of this month. Gonna go to Orlando. I'm not much of a beach person. I mean, I like beaches. I really don't like tropical beaches as much as most people. I usually get badly sunburned no matter how much sunscreen I use. I usually can't sit still and lay on the sand for hours at a time. I'm very impatient that way. I'm much happier with just about any other type of vacation other than one where you sit in the sun. And going to Orlando means I get to see what's new at the theme parks, which I haven't been to in about 5 or 6 years, something like that. I get to be a big kid and go to Disneyland. Or Disney World, rather. I get to go to Universal Studios and see Harry Potter World and all the other ridiculousness. So I'm looking forward to that. And that will get me out of the snow, at least for a little while. Alright, Pyromancer, what do you got for me? Looks like elves. And if that's the case, so be it. Let's shuffle that back. Oh man, this isn't very good either. Shuffle that back. This is not getting better, so we'll keep. Not gonna crack that for a while. Gonna try to get an idea. Hopefully we draw some more lands so we have a better idea of what to fetch. So I feel like we're running into some deck inconsistency here now. We're gonna go get blue, so that made up our mind for us. But let's see how it does with a 6-card hand and not the best of draws. Really all we need is one more land, and Brilliant Spectrum might be able to set us right. And our opponent is not on the fast start, so we can counter Lucky Stars for that. What could he play that I would need to Spell Shrivel on turn 3? Nothing. Turn 3 is not a big turn in this game, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go set up the white mana. And be ready to cast Brilliant Spectrum next turn, or leave up Spell Shrivel. See what our opponent actually does. Just green. Okay, if they're keeping a hand this slow, I'm going to anticipate that they have some really good 4-drops, and that might include Acid Moss. So, with that considered, I am going to leave the Shrivel up now. Really don't want to mess in with my beautiful 4-color all-basics mana base. Wow, that's not a good... I mean, that's his card. I'm going to Shrivel it anyway so I can take a turn off to Spectrum, but that's not an intimidating card. And maybe he baited that. Maybe he knew I was going to hold up Counter Magic, but we'll see. Alright, so we got a bunch of land now, and it's about picking the right ones, and we don't really want more basics, so I can put these away and keep our dual lands, which are pretty important to the cause. Play this one. But yeah, you don't get... obviously, it's pretty rare that we just, get all 4 basics into play. The dual lands do play a really big role. So I'm guessing this is a Primal Bellow type deck. I'm worried about getting hit with that. So we'll get Sower out there to take the brunt of some of that force in a minute. Just to remind me, Spectrum would probably be the target for Greenwarden, but we already have another one, so let's just get this. Let's get this going. And we hit 1 forest. Okay. And what do we exile? So Wild Size, we know he plays some pump spells, and it looks like he plays some Eldrazi, so some kind of an awkward green ramp deck. I will definitely block if he wants to attack me. He wants to play a Deathless Behemoth. Okie doke. I wonder if I want to use an Edict on that right now. I think I do, because otherwise we're still in a stalemate. But it's also tempting to... Actually, I'm going to Spectrum leave up Shrivel. Yeah, that way maybe I can... His pump spells will be cheap, but maybe I can catch him and counter one. Or he'll go for something bigger. And we'll hang on to this for a minute and see if something bigger does come around. Okay. What don't I need? I don't need any more Brilliant Spectrum. And I think I can safely toss the white. I think I can toss either land, but we'll toss the white one. So now do I hold up that Shrivel, or do I play that 6/6? I think I can't go wrong. I can't go too wrong here. I could go wrong here by running into a Reclamation Sage. 3. Oh well. That's me paying attention. Not enough again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I should have kept the mountain. Ugh. I keep on forgetting to, like, colors. Me and colors. I should know better. Alright, Mr. Behemoth. How are you feeling? Woodland Wanderer, okay? So, I think what we're going to get into is Angelic Edicting the largest, the heaviest of the threats. And then we can Greenwarden back the Edict, but actually, since he can't make any progress without a pump spell right now, let's see what happens. If he attacks, he has a Primal Bellow. Okay, so he doesn't have one yet. Since he can't make any progress on the board right now, we can get out from beyond and set up Ulamog to run over this game. Another Behemoth, I can shrivel that, no problem. So that's all 3 Behemoths. It is uncommon, right? Yep. So all 3 Deathless Behemoths have come and gone. Behemi, perhaps. We don't have enough mana to get Ulamog yet, so gotta make us some Scions. Oh, there's a good draw. Let's see, 5. We'll need a slightly bigger creature. We're gonna have one in a minute. Don't worry about that. He doesn't have nearly enough. He's like still 3 mana shy of Ulamog, so I think I can fire this off, but Ulamog's already going to hit these. So I think it's better to save it. How about Greenwarden? Greenwarden for Spell Shrivel keeps him from doing anything big. Yeah, I like that. And then if he doesn't play anything, we go get Ulamog. So it's a good play. Now he has to get around a Spell Shrivel if he wants to have a good turn. And ramp decks aren't well designed to do that on time. Okay, I'll just say no. They do it eventually because they eventually ramp out all the lands in their deck, but in kind of the mid-game like this, Spell Shrivel's a big problem for him. You just can't be too, you can't be too set on holding Spell Shrivel only for Ulamogs or Desolation Twins. You have to use it on what they're up to and keep them in check. What's it gonna be? Alright. Got bailed out, should have fetched on end step. For some reason I'm missing a lot of plays. Actually I have a thing to blame it on, but it's mostly going to sound like me complaining, so bear with me. But for the first time I've tried putting the chat on the screen in front of me in the snap view, the Xbox snap view, and I keep on looking at it and forgetting what I'm doing. And I know that nobody's posting very much in chat, and that's cool, that doesn't bother me. But it's still distracting because I keep on looking over at it every time I say something, as if someone's going to magically talk back. Our opponent's probably out of here. They may have some fogs, but probably don't have a solution. Perfectly happy to trade off the Greenwarden. I don't have a way to get it back out of the graveyard, but he likely doesn't either, so it doesn't matter whether we exile it or not. And we've got another Hunt Beast. And we've got another Blister Pod. Do I have enough mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I do. So we'll go kaboom. Get rid of that. Finish the job. Rah! And that'll do it. That's 3 games up and 3 games down with the 4-color control deck from the Steam Showdown. Another one that had no trouble mopping up the random opponents here on Xbox One. And we will come back in a little bit with another deck to try out. So thanks for hanging out.